Welcome to Real Chat with Kat, the podcast that's all about real conversations for real transformation. I'm your host, Kat Pulcinelli, professional speaker, MC, and best-selling international author. Here, we tackle the tough stuff, the mud that we all have found ourselves in. We talk about the pivots, the challenges, and the victories that shape our lives and our businesses. From overcoming trauma and finding your voice to navigating life's unexpected twists, we get raw, honest, and open. You'll hear from inspiring guests who share their stories of resilience, healing, and growth. Whether it's breaking through emotional abuse, embracing self-worth, or thriving in entrepreneurship, you'll find connection, empowerment, and the tools to keep you moving forward. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready for stories that hit home and conversations that make a difference. Let's get real together. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Real Chat with Kat. I am so excited to have you here with me today, and I am so excited for my guests. Sorry, we have just had like the giggles right before we went on here. So it's just been one of those days. I feel like it's been more of a week or two for me, but that's beside the point. So, Joanne, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Kat, and having a good laugh before we got on here. It was a really great warm-up session.
Yeah, that's how we get this party started. Thank you, Joanne, for accepting me. So thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. Do us all a favor then, and let's get this party rolling. So tell us all who you are, what it is that you do, and what got you into your space.
Yes. So I am Joanne Homestead, CEO of Desk Plant Creatives and the founder of the Empathic Email Copywriting Collective. And I am an obsessed storyteller, first of all. And on top of that, an email copywriter and copy coach. So I empower women entrepreneurs and coaches in wellness, well-being, and mindset to elevate their stories to really help connect, compel, and soulfully sell with audacious authenticity, all through the fantastic world of emails. That is my absolute happy place.
I love that. How did you come to emails? Because like there's content writers all over the place, right? There's those that I do know that focus more on email. There's those that kind of consider themselves a little bit more generalized, and then some that like love social media. What is the difference? Like how do you favorite email over social media and vice versa?
Yeah, great question. I was just talking to someone 2 days ago about this, and we were all talking about origin stories, and I said, no 8-year-old ever says, I'm gonna grow up and be an email copywriter.
Right.
And then we went into this whole thing like, well, when we were 8 years old, there was no email at the time. So that wouldn't
Very
even have
true.
been a thing anyway. But so I'll go into first like how I got into copywriting. 4 years ago, I did not know what a copywriter was. I come from a teaching background, and I taught for 15 years as a classroom teacher, a literacy specialist, and then in the last 5 years of my 15-year teaching career, I also was a coach for teachers and mentor for new teachers as well. And so
Nice.
I had no idea what a copywriter was. I was in the education teaching world. And 4 years ago, when I started my business, that's when I learned about copywriting, which at the time when they first said it, I thought they were talking about the legal C in the circle,
Oh,
copyright. You publish a book, it's got the copyright. Don't plagiarize. And so I kind of fell into the online business world, and I realized that I loved copywriting because I was working at the time as a virtual assistant for my clients, and I did all kinds of, I'm telling you, I did all kinds of things, tasks for my clients. from helping a client to cancel their business Comcast account, which if you Google is the most impossible thing to do.
Oh my goodness, it is. Comcast has got some secret layers of.
Secret layers. And I did the thing that was my first task ever in my business. And I said, if I can do that, I can do anything. I I was like on top of the world. Anyways. And then yeah, did all kinds of things, graphic design in Canva and writing. And it was blog writing and then also doing some copywriting. I didn't realize it was copywriting. It's
Hmm.
very natural for me. And when I would write, my clients would say, like, wow, like Joanne, you really brought the emotion out in that writing that you did. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Like I don't think too much about that. And then I started writing emails for clients, and that's when that was the hook. That was definitely the hook. Like you're asking about, okay, so like why email? There's social media, there's
Yeah.
all that stuff. I got hooked right then and there because I started writing emails for several of my clients, and they would all say the same thing. They'd say, I write to my email list all the time. I get crickets. I don't hear anything. And you write one email, and literally 12 people just responded to that email saying, like, that was the best email ever. Or I hadn't thought of it that way. Like, thank you for doing that. Or like, I love Harry Potter. I had connected it to Harry Potter and like the liver, and they're like, oh my gosh, I have a new appreciation for my liver because you explained it in a way through Harry Potter, who I love. And so it was so much fun for me. It was just like creativity combined with the storytelling, combined with how do you persuade someone in a clear way, in a way that makes them feel uplifted, empowered. Like at the time I didn't even know about bro marketing. I didn't know about like shame-based marketing. It was just very natural for me. And this is what I did 15 years as a teacher. So that is how I got hooked into it. I was like, okay, I got to explore this thread here because there's something here that I think I need to follow. And so I did pivot into copywriting just in general, because then again, I wanted to see, okay, like website copywriting, social media, email.
Yeah.
It was very quick. I was like, oh no, it's email. It's definitely email. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and website can get really, really complicated, in my opinion, really fast. Like depending on the direction you're wanting to go, but then you still kind of need to keep it short and simple, but you still want to make sure it's grabbing people's attention. Like I've had certain people explain it to me and like website designers that work on that stuff, and I'm like, okay, whatever you say, if that's what.
It is a very different kind of like storytelling and format. And that's what I think
Yeah.
I love about the email. Like the format to me in email makes so much sense to me. I have enough time to tell a story, but it's not like a book. It's
Yeah.
just enough to hook someone
Yeah.
in, to get them to read the first line, the second, third, all the way to the end. And that's the sweet spot for me. So yeah, website copywriting is definitely a very different, I feel like, kind of storytelling because of
Hmm.
the format.
Yeah. So then what do you feel like makes it different from email to social media? Because I know like a lot of people that have hair in my mouth, a lot of people that I've talked with, sorry, just excuse me, um, that talk about how, you can take some stuff that's in your email and you can turn it into your social media, or you can take like, is let's say you have a long form post in social media and you could like turn that into an email. So do you see that there's a lot of similarities, or is there like a couple of like big differences, which is the reason why like email is just kind of like your space?
Yeah. I see it differently on more of like a strategy level. And
Okay.
then also, for my clients who are in my copy coaching program, a lot of them, they want to put their energy and time and focus into writing their email sequences, email campaigns, email newsletters.
Oh, okay.
What they do is they do repurpose that for social media. They can either take pieces of it and put it into, they make one email into like two or three social media posts.
Hmm.
Which is I'm like, I'm all about repurposing. I'm like, do not I work with personal brands. So you are one person. What is manageable, and what helps you to honor your capacity and not do all the
Yeah.
things. So that's one piece of it. Like, yes, the repurposing. And then the strategy piece is the other difference, I feel like, in terms of the content, because in social media, you're working within this algorithm and your content is only there for a certain amount of time. Like, I know
Mm,
all the different platforms are different, but it could be
yeah.
HubSpot has done like they've done the research on this. I think like an Instagram post is visible, I guess you could say, for I don't know, less than 24 hours, I think it was.
Wow.
And so in email, like when you send the email, it's
Hmm.
there and it's in their inbox. Like it's
Oh,
there
that's true.
and they get to click on it. It's not like this thing that goes away because you're in doom scrolling mode on
Oh,
social media.
oh, been there, been there. Yeah, just
And
gonna,
also
that makes
like
sense.
the reach is also different because of the longevity in social media is much shorter than for email. Like when you send an email, it's going to the inbox. Again, there's
Hmm.
like variability with spam, but those are things that if you're building a good reputation, then that's not going to be a problem.
Hmm.
Like,
Well,
and if you're doing consent-based emails, making sure that people are opting in, you're not just adding them in, you're not going to get marked as spam. And you have a good reputation. So when you send the email, it's almost like 100% reach.
yeah. Okay. Let's go over this real quick because this has like become a pet peeve of mine. And
Oh,
I know there are several people that are probably
okay.
listening to this. They're like, "Oh no, I'm not mad at you. Email marketing with permission.
Mm,
Can you please, can we go into this like just for a
yep.
moment? Because it drives me absolutely bananas. Like I know that there are rules and certain like regulations we are technically supposed to be following, but a lot of entrepreneurs do not know this. They
Mhm.
literally have zero clue because, right, we're building from nothing and learning whatever we can. But it drives me crazy when I do a networking call or someone makes an introduction to someone and I immediately start getting their email newsletters. And I'm like,
Oh,
why? Like,
no.
what? Why? Or I've had those that I don't know if you've ever had this where you go to fill out like on their calendar to schedule a call and it says, do you want to receive a newsletter from us? But it will not let you move forward until you check that box. There is no option.
Oh, no. No,
Yes.
that's not called
Yes.
giving a choice.
Yeah.
That's it.
So since email is your space, can we go into just for a moment like a little bit of like the legalities and what it is, the way that you're supposed to do it? Because I've had people that have actually like I was literally on a call the other day and she was like, "Hey, do you mind if I add you to my CRM so that you get my newsletters?" And I was like, "I so appreciate that you asked me that. Yes, please go ahead." Because
Yeah.
I am that person. First off, I don't read a ton of emails. So if you're sending me crap, more than likely I'm going to unsubscribe. Or if I've never met you and I'm already getting your newsletters because someone made an introduction, I will spam you real quick because I don't
Yeah.
appreciate that because you just
Mhm.
made it a choice to add me into your database and you don't have your database separated to where it's like just connections and those that have chosen to join your email list. And I know everybody wants to grow their email list and blah, 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 blah. And people are like, but that's how you get clients. Correct. However, I am all for let's have some type of permission or
Yes.
some type of conversation, not just because I literally have had people just make an introduction email that's like, hey, I feel like you guys should hop on a call. And all of a sudden I'm getting newsletters. I'm like, who the heck is this person? Like,
Yeah,
where did
what,
they
like,
come from?
where did this come
Yeah.
from? And when I see that in my inbox, I check it and I go spam because I'm
Yeah.
like, not, what is this? Though there is one email list I'm on. Okay, I just have to tell this story. I started getting these random emails about 6 months ago. I do not know how I got this on this email list, and it's to my business email address, which people can find online. I have an online business,
Hmm.
so people can find things. But it is like a very specific. So I live in Colorado, and this business that I got onto their email list, I don't know how, is in Ohio, and it's like an Irish community where they talk about like events that they have coming up with.
What? That's
Swear,
like the most random thing ever.
it's so random. And I just I didn't want to unsubscribe because I thought it was so funny. And so when they send an email maybe once every few months, they don't send a lot. I've gotten maybe like 3 or 4 emails from them since in the last half a year, and it just makes me so happy because I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I am on this Irish community in Ohio email, and I get to hear about their events that they're having, and it looks so great and
I'm
fun.
like, you get the in. That's what it is. You've got the in to us. If you
And
ever go to Ohio, you're just going to have to show up at one of these events and be like, hi.
hey, everyone. I thank you for sharing that event information. I flew in from Colorado. I am so excited to be here for the what is the traditional dance, the river dance.
Oh, yes.
They got some river dancing going on. So, you
Okay.
know,
Well, so anybody that's in Ohio, just FYI, there's an Irish group.
so anyways, that's the one I did not spam. I just thought it was really funny.
Oh, they
But yeah,
made it past it. So,
consent-based email marketing is so important. And I feel very passionately about this because as as someone who does marketing, a big piece of it is like the ethical marketing. And I think that just comes from my background in teaching, you know.
mhm.
Like, yeah, obviously I'm not gonna be here manipulating children or trying to like, you know, I like I'm not gonna use their emotions against them to get them to do things that, Anyways, so yes, consent-based email marketing really means like, okay, we're entrepreneurs here, okay? We are, as one of my entrepreneur colleagues likes to say, we're building the plane as it's flying. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you're learning along the way. And if you're not sure on like the compliance and the legality of email, that's okay. But here you are. You can now
You
you can know exactly what you need to do. But asking for permission to add someone to your email list, and kind of like what you're saying, like not the kind where you're gonna schedule on someone's scheduling calendar and you have to click like yes in order to have a conversation with them. I do have that opt-in in my Calendly scheduler. You can, if you'd like to sign up for my free email community Flourish, you can sign up here. And then I have a little box that says, yes, I signed up. And then a no thanks, totally fine, nothing personal. So I give them that. It's like you need to give them that option. Or what you
yeah.
said, like asking them for that permission from you. And then I also really think that double opt-in is really important. A lot of people, a double opt-in is basically where if like I have a free email storytelling guide that you can get from my website. And so when you sign up for it, you put your name in and your email address. You check the little box that says, I agree to receive marketing content from Decibel Creatives.
Hmm.
And then you click and then you get it in your inbox. And then this is the double opt-in. So you opted in once, and then there's a second opt-in in your email inbox. There's a confirmation email that says, yes, I do want to receive these emails. And actually it is uh like legally you are supposed to have like a double opt-in, but a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to do that because it's like that extra step. And people always say like you got to make it as easy as possible for, people to get in. And yes, there's that piece, but then there's also the piece of let's just make sure the consent is there. And the double opt-in also then does allow for emails not to end up in spam because people will sign up for things and then they forget and then they get an email and they're like, where did this come from? Like,
Oh, that's
even though you
true.
signed up. And so you have that information there too. And then there's, I mean, I don't know if you want to get into the whole like in Europe, there's the GDPR compliance for email marketing. So if you do have people on your email list who are not in the States, there is another whole GDPR compliance that
Oh,
a lot of the opt-in pages have that feature. You'll see it says GDPR compliance. Um,
okay.
they check that box too because they have more stringent policies around privacy for people who are in Europe.
Interesting. I did not know that. And I've met so many people in Europe and in other places outside of the United States. I don't think I've ever paid attention to that. Now I'm gonna go look for one. This is see, I go down rabbit holes too, everybody. This is the best. No, I appreciate that so much because I really don't think that people understand. And a lot of it is because we have never been in a business where we've had to worry about it, right? Like I have met some marketers and those that have done web design or done things even at a corporate position that when they move into the entrepreneurial space, they are aware of it. But like this is not like it's not just something that's taught by a ton of business coaches or anybody. I mean, to be honest, like, there's probably a lot of business coaches that don't realize that you should have this option instead of just adding everyone to your list. And while again, I am all for adding people so that you grow your list because that's what you own, right? I understand that. And also being respectful of other people's inboxes. So I love this. And I've heard of the double opt-in. Honestly, didn't understand exactly what it was. And I'm guilty of it too. Like if I've had really good conversations with people, I know that they've been on my list. I also don't send out a ton of newsletters. Like you're going to get one from me probably sporadically. I'm not one of those people that sends one out every single week or 2 to 3 times a week. I
Mhm.
also do not like getting things 2 to 3 times a week. So even if I do like your content and you're sending it to me because I just don't make the time to read through that stuff, I'm gonna unsubscribe because
Mhm.
that's too much for me. Now, there are some people that are readers, right? And so they love that stuff and they love getting all that information. And I think that's where it comes down to, I feel like understanding who your audience is and how they like to consume information. I know that the majority of people that follow me like to see my videos. I can write a long post content and I won't get anything on it, but I can post a 2 minute video and all of a sudden I've got tons of likes and people commenting and stuff like that. Not saying that people don't read it, but the majority of my audience tends to go toward the video. So when I write short content and I do things like that, I get more interactions. So for me, or at least in my brain, it doesn't make sense for me to be sending out 2 emails a week to reach my people, unless I'm sending out like videos just to connect with people and stuff like that, right?
That's something that my
Like,
clients, I tell my clients all the time about is like I love how you're using your superpower and you understand that's your superpower and that's where people are getting attracted to you. And so for some of my clients, yeah, they're speaking is their superpower. And I'm like, let's use that. We can use that in email. Like we can have the written word to me is like that's my superpower. I love being there. But you can use audio and video in emails. And I've seen some creative ways to use it in their email marketing. Like they've um, recorded on an audio on Voxer, the Voxer app, which is a voice app. And then they embed it into their email and
ooh,
say,
interesting.
you're like, I just had this thought at like midnight. I had to just like I just have to speak it out and I'm going to share it here with you because I think you'll find it really interesting. Also have known another entrepreneur who also does a lot of audio through email and uses an app that also records their voice memo and then sends it like it automatically sends it through email for them. So there's
Ooh,
different like options for that. And I know there's other apps like Bonjoro. Like these are all that one's a video app where you can send customized messages to people in your email community. And just like so many great ways to like connect and have touch points with people.
I love that. That is a really good point. And I think that that's what a lot of times we forget is we get so caught up in the way that everyone else is doing everything that we forget that we still get to make it what works best for us or what we enjoy doing. Because like you said, because of the way that you really enjoy doing email marketing, you've had people say that they feel the emotion in it, right? So it's the same thing if I am trying to type out this really super long message. While I can, it's not necessarily my strong suit, or do I enjoy it? Sometimes it flows, but a lot of times it tends to be me speaking it verbally. And so people are going to feel the difference in that. And it really is interesting because we forget that we end up do really connecting to that emotional piece that's in it. And you really can tell if somebody is like super dry in an email or a post, and you're like, don't really feel like that's something that they would say in that direction. Like you can sense it, or at least I can. I pay attention to that stuff. I'm just one of those people. Um, but I love this reminder that there are so many different ways to be able to do email marketing and getting this content in front of your people. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be this super long email with like all of this embedded information that
Mhm.
I tend to see. Because I feel like you can still have kind of like information overload in an email. Like I know that I had someone for a really long time that I enjoyed some of the cute little things that they sent, and then it was like at the bottom it was like this half a page of information. It was like, oh, and if you didn't know that I did this, and if you're interested in this, like, and it was every single email. And I was like, oh gosh, I was glad that the information I was looking for was up top, but I feel like, and I'd love to hear your take on it as well. Do you feel like people should be changing that up when it comes to that? Because I personally, and maybe that's just me, I get bored easily. But if I see the exact same thing, I get to the point where I'm just like, I'm not even going to check your email anymore because
Yeah.
I keep seeing the same information and I just don't care to keep rereading through the stuff to then get what I need out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. I have so much to share. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can remember. Okay, I had 3 points. Let's see if I can remember. One, one I think I like to say, which for a lot of people like who want to do, they're entrepreneurs, they really want to be able to connect with their email community, really compel with the storytelling and be able to like soulfully sell, directly promote, and do it in a way that's consent based, that gives them the option to opt out of a sales sequence, all those things. The first thing I say to them is get into a right relationship with your email inbox because that is affecting the way you're going to show up writing in your emails. So your
Ooh.
own email inbox, you need to see what's going on in there for you. For some people, they are subscribed to a lot of different email newsletters and they don't want to unsubscribe from any of them, even though some of them just don't resonate with them anymore. There's just, it's just not the right timing, but they feel like, oh, if I unsubscribe, like they're gonna, like that's like I'm gonna offend them, and that's
Yep.
gonna show up when you are in your own email marketing, because when you go to write an email you might get stuck, like you might procrastinate, you might not want to do it because you're thinking in your head, what if someone unsubscribes? I'm gonna feel a lot of, it's gonna like just break my heart, or like I can't handle it. So the first thing I say is you gotta get in right relationship with your own email inbox and really dig into what thoughts are coming up for you and get curious. Hmm, why am I having this thought? Okay. Or, someone said they were starting to feel a grudge about how many emails they were getting from these people who they love, they want to support,
Wow.
but they were getting into a grudge because they were getting all these emails. And I said, like it's so you can support them in other ways. You would support them if you unsubscribe, because actually that would help their deliverability of their emails.
True.
Anyhow, um, and so I was like, yeah, just get curious. Like, what are your thoughts around that? What's going on? And then what kind of like what you're saying, like some people will say, like, well, I don't even read emails. I don't read emails. So that's why they get stuck trying, they want to use their email marketing. They feel like they have a really great community they built there, but they're stuck, and it's something around where they're realizing that the thought of, oh, I don't read my emails is now translating into no one's going to read my emails. No one's going to care. No, which is not true, because if you're doing consent-based email marketing, people have voluntarily signed up to come into your space. I like
Mm-hmm.
to imagine it like this, like they have voluntarily come to your door, opened the door, and said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm so glad I'm here. I'd love to learn more about you. I want to get to know you." It's like that initial coffee chat, again, depending on where they're coming from, if they are more warm or cold, but they have chosen to be there and they want to hear from you. So I think it really starts with, okay, getting in right relationship with your email inbox. So then you can move forward with your email marketing in a way that feels good for you, that's on your own terms. No, there aren't like shoulds in here. Like, oh, I see this person doing that, so I have to do that, or I have to do this. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a big
Second piece.
one.
Second piece with like the you're talking about like the footnote at the bottom of the email. The second,
Oh, yes. The dreaded footnote.
um, again, that's kind of like what you're saying. Like you need to understand who you're talking to, your audience, your community. Like if people are seeing that and they're clicking on it, they're interested, you can see that they're clicking, great. They're into that. If you have that down there and no one's really clicking on anything, then that means it's just become white noise. It's like what you're saying.
Mm,
It's like it's just there, but it's not doing anything. Like there's no emotional connection. Again, like I like to talk a lot about, there's just no emotional connection there for you. So I would say just get rid of that. And really focus on the emotional piece, like hooking them into the storytelling, hooking them in for every line. So when they read the first line, they want to read the second, they want to read the third, they just want to keep reading. So that is another piece that comes up for a lot of my copy coaching clients is I don't want my email to be too long.
yeah.
I tell all of them it's not really about length. It can be long as long as it's compelling. If your people are into that and it's compelling and they are reading, you can tell they're like reading through and then they're clicking or they're engaging, then that works. It's not like the only time it's too long, it's not really about length. It's that it's not compelling. It falls flat. It's neutral. There's just something about it, the copywriting or the storytelling that is not
Hmm.
landing.
That
I
makes a lot of sense.
think I hit most of those points there. I had wait, now I can't remember what it is. It's fine.
It's just one of those days. We're just gonna go with it.
We're gonna
Whatever
go with it.
came out, it's fine. No, I do love it though, and I love that you brought up the point that the length is not necessarily what matters because I do hear a lot of people that get caught up in that. And there are some marketing strategists that focus on that as well, whether it is email or social media content. And it's like, oh, well, you need to have some short form, but also some long form. And I understand the strategy behind that, but I do think that it does come back to how you attract your audience and what your audience is compelled to hear from you. And if you're just really good at explaining something and getting to the point, I'm not always good at that, but if you are really good at explaining and getting to the point in a very short time, I don't see why that's an issue. Why would you drag it out? Because then, like you said, the emotion and the connection and what you're looking for people to connect with is being totally missed because you are trying to drag it out versus doing what you're already good at. And that's what we need to remember is we have to keep focusing on what we know that we're good at and learning what we are good at and learning what other people are taking in from us. And while it is absolutely amazing to have marketing strategists and content writers and all these people to help coach us, so guide us around how to do better or improve or learn, we still need to keep an aspect of us in all of those pieces. And I think that's where people get lost is they see their coach or their strategist as like the expert. And then we get so caught up in like, but this is what they said we have to do, that they forget what they enjoy doing. And then that's where that disconnect comes in. And so that's why I always say, like, I love the phrase, take what is meant for you and leave the rest. And I think that that should be like every business motto,
Yeah.
absolutely
That,
anywhere.
that is the
Because we
mantra.
all have, yeah, we all have different perspectives. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different things that are going to connect with us. And while, yes, some people do one thing one way, they do it really, really good, and it has skyrocketed their business, might not exactly translate to yours, but you can still take the framework. You can still take some of the gears and the pieces inside and then add it to yours to build and improve upon your thing. And I think that copywriting is the same thing. And don't get me wrong, there are just some of us out there that are like, I don't want to touch it. I just want somebody to do it. And that's fine too, but make
Yeah.
sure there's still an element of you in that. Like you are still reading through the stuff that they are creating for you. You are still making sure that you're having meetings with them to make sure that you guys are on the same page, or if you feel like you've shifted a little bit, like those conversations are being had, because nobody is going to be able to take you and like replicate it when they're all the way over here and you're the one that's inside of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so what I like to do with my clients, and it's interesting, like all the different email, like they have different email. They all have different emails because they're all different people. And I think it's awesome and wonderful. And that's one of the first things they say is like, you're going to do this on your own terms, and like everything else that you are seeing that does not resonate with you, like I especially say in your email inbox, like just start unsubscribing, just start get them out, get them out.
Yes.
They're gonna be noise, and they're gonna keep coming up for you as like, oh, I should be doing this, like, oh, I should have done that Black Friday sale like that person, oh, I should have. All these shoulds come up, and I'm like, when the shoulds come up, just take a step back, like, okay, get curious, what's going on here? And then just follow the ones that you like you like, make you happy, that you want to emanate in a way, but make it your own. Like it's really about making it your own.
Hmm.
Finding your voice in your writing, finding the joy in that, even if you feel like you're not a writer, like being able to see like to be able to like build those relationships with people in your email community is pretty amazing. Like when they start getting responses from people, people are clicking way more. Like you've honed your communication skills to speak what's from your heart, but also you understand who you're talking to and how to speak to them in their communication style too.
I love that. That's like the perfect note to end on. Oh,
I think
goodness.
I'll bow out now.
She's like, I'm out. We're done. Go ahead and cut. No, I really do appreciate. Oh, today is going to be a day, Joanne. I really do appreciate all of the information though, and just the insight and the reminder, right? That like there are wonderful people just like you that can help, that really can coach you, that can help guide you and make sure that you're not losing yourself when you're hiring
Oh,
someone.
okay, sorry. Okay.
Yes.
I have
Okay.
one more thing. I was like, okay. So what you were saying about your, like, don't forget your superpowers, your strengths. I
Hmm.
really resonate with that as well, because that is how I felt like as a teacher. That is 100% how I like to work with my students is I'm starting from your strengths. And even with your writing, like when you submit that to me, I am picking out all the strengths that you have in there so you can see that. Because I want you to see what you're really good at. And then I'm going to be like, okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to tweak these things so that we can make it even better. But I definitely feel like you can get lost in all the noise and all the shoulds, but always coming back to that center of what am I good at? What do I love? What makes me happy? What are my strengths? And keeping that as your anchor.
I love that.
I'm so
Keeping that
sorry.
as your anchor. I absolutely love that. So as we come to a close then, and you kind of just really close it with some really great quotes and feedback. But I always ask everybody if they happen to have a quote or a piece of advice they'd like to leave the audience with. So Joanne, do you have anything you'd like to leave the audience with? Any last words?
Words. Oh gosh. I'm like, could you take everything we said and just like put the bits together at the end here? Um, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment. What I would like to leave with is, yeah, I think it's just that. It's writing from your heart because we can get stuck in what do people want to hear from me? What you're trying to engineer what you want to say according to what you think other people want to hear from you.
Mm.
But instead, listen to what it is right now. Tune into what's happening right now. And what is that? What does your heart want to say? And write that out. And that's going to resonate so much more than trying to write in a way that's like, I think this is what they want to hear instead of, oh, this is what I have to share with you today. This is my insight. This is what's going on right now for me. And so follow your heart. No, actually, there is this quote. I'm like turned into a Disney movie.
That's okay. We can Disney-fy it over here. I'm totally good.
Disney this. Um, there is a quote that just came to me by, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Rumi, I think,
Oh
Rumi.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's oh gosh, it's on a journal. I can like picture in my head. It says like follow the direction of your heart. It it won't lead you astray or something like that. That's my quote.
So,
That's my quote unquote.
so in
I
case
am
you're
not good at
listening, you're
quoting.
gonna go find Rumi or Rummy, and you're gonna look at her.
That's that's my quote. I cannot guarantee that was exact words.
So we
But
left you
like,
guys with some really great insight as we ended. No, I'm just kidding, Joanne. You gave some amazing information, and I know I've heard that name. I honestly do not know how to pronounce it either. So yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I will look it up because now I'm interested to know what the quote is. So as we finish everything up then, please tell everybody then how can they find you? How can they connect with you? How can they be in your world?
yes, I would absolutely love for you to join me. You can go to my website, which is deskplantcreatives.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, at Joanne Homestead or Joanne Homestead Copywriter. But fun fact, I am the only Joanne Homestead on LinkedIn and
Oh,
possibly
interesting.
on Google. So it's pretty easy to find
That
my
makes
name.
it easy.
And then, of course, you can always join me in my email community. It's free. It's called Flourish, and I have all stories of all different kinds of flavors. And I talk about copywriting tips, email strategy, email sequences, all that good and fun stuff. So if
Oh,
you
love
want to
it.
join there, I do have my free email storytelling guide you can sign up for, and I think you'll have the link to that. Um,
Yes.
sign up there, and then you can choose, yes, I'd like to join the email community, or you can go to my website as well. You'll see my free guide pop up there too.
Love it. I'm so excited to share the free guide for anybody that's interested. Oh, and I know that you have a membership that you are actually launching
Oh,
as
that's right.
well. So tell
Yeah.
everybody about this because by the time this actually airs, you said it should be launched at that time.
Yes.
It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's being finalized. So tell us a little bit about that and where they'll be able to find that information, and then we'll sign off.
So great. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes. I had mentioned that at the beginning and then I like totally forgot. So thank you for bringing that back
You're
around. Circle back
welcome.
around. So yes, I am so excited that I do have I'm launching my copy coaching program and I've restructured it to be a group program. And I'm really excited because there's a lot of great stuff happening in there. And so I did a rebrand and I literally had to write the name of the program down because it's so new to me. Like, and I'm just having that day too where I'm like my brain. So it's called the Empathic Email Copywriting Collective, EECC. And it is going to be such a great place if you are really wanting to really use your like be able to connect with your email community and write to them with the storytelling power, having that emotional connection in an ethical way, no manipulations, no magic bullets, none of that crap. Sorry to say that, but um it's really with integrity and being able to get more engagement. You're looking for more engagement in your emails. You want people to be clicking more. You're not getting many clicks. You want more clients booking calls with you. This is a really great program for that. So I did open up enrollment already, and by the time this airs, it will be launched. So you can find out more information about that on my website, because by that point, I will have made a sales page for that's in the works right now.
I
So
just love the realness. See, this is
this is
called
the cover.
entrepreneurship.
This is building the plane as you're flying it. You can go to my website and find more information about it there. And always reach out to me. You can reach out through LinkedIn or my contact form on my website as well. And I'd love to connect and chat with you there.
Thank you so much, Joanne. It's been wonderful speaking with you. There's been so much information. I feel like we touched base on so many things. So thank you so much for being a part of the podcast
Yes, thank you
today.
so much for having me here.
You're so welcome to everybody else out there. Well, this is called entrepreneurship. This is what happens. No, I hope that you got some really amazing takeaways. I know that we are learning so many things at the same time as we're going through this journey. And there are us that have been in it for years before we realize that there are things like this that we should be aware of. So be respectful, be aware, make sure you have consent, and also be sure that you are following your emotions and your heart while learning from others around you that are in those expertise fields. I think like that is such a beautiful combination when it comes to that, so that you are both leaning on their strengths and building yours at the same time. So until next time, do one thing positive for someone each and every day and see the difference that it makes in your life. Catch you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Chat with Kat today, where real stories meet real solutions. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review on Apple, and share this with someone who may also need to hear this as well. Let's also keep the conversation going. Follow me on socials at The Lotus Effect, connect with our incredible guests, and remember, you are never alone. Your story matters, and you have the ability and the power to rewrite it. You always have a choice. Until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep showing up as the incredible, unstoppable